Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to a very special edition of the Mark Moses Show. And we do this every year after round one of the NFL draft. Yes, it is our Friday edition of the show, recapping all the chaos from last night there at the NFL draft this year in Green Bay. And we're going to kick it off with a great guest here on the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Yes, my great friend Alan Zlotorzynski with Brevard Sports Network. And I know he was very busy yesterday as well. Alan, how you doing today?
Mark, I'm doing great, buddy. As always, thank you for having me.
And you are wearing your special edition number 19 Baltimore Ravens, which I think it says Alan Z on the back. Is that correct? Oh, he's turning around. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Your headphone, your headphones almost popped out. Are you good to keep talking?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Let's go over this first off. You were busy. You, I think, called a baseball game, a big baseball game here in Brevard. Which game was that?
I did Satellite and Key West yesterday. Obviously, game three. This has really been fun with these baseball playoffs. Best of three format. First time the FHSAA has done this. The first two games at the higher seed, the third game at the lower seed. Key West is a place where when you go play baseball, they've won 11 state championships. Let's just put it to you this way. If you could take the wildest college football crowd and combine them with the wildest hockey crowd you've ever seen, that's your high school baseball crowd at Key West. They show no mercy. They are brutal. And that's their sport, man. They've won 11 state championships. They could care less about Friday Night Lights in Key West. It's all about baseball. And they did some serious talking this week. They called a bunch of us out. And, listen, we responded. Unfortunately, in game three yesterday, the Scorps did not. And Key West took them down 3-0 in the third game.
Oh, okay. All right. It's still a great season for the Scorpions. And I've been joking all week. I give them credit. The players, the coaches, the administration, the parents, where they had to go down to Key West on a work school day. What was it, Monday, Tuesday? Dude, that is insane. How did that even happen where they had to play there?
If you can get the FHSAA to provide an answer to that question, will you let everybody else know?
Why not? Here's what I understand. Okay, you have to play them fine. Those games should have been played Saturday, Sunday at least. At least it would have been the weekend.
Well, there was a little controversy from this because TJ Gowdy, the manager and athletic director for Satellite, asked to do the doubleheader because and Key West said no. We play at night. You saw the video. We play at night. We're comp power. Wow. You saw that clown, right?
I did. So, you posted that video.
I added a little extra for him. So, so they said no. And so they did relent. The irony in all of this is that game three was supposed to be last night at 7:00. Well, guess what happened? What? Key West's charter buses couldn't return them after 6:00 yesterday, or they would have had to stay another night in Brevard County. So they requested an earlier time yesterday so that they could go home last night. And TJ Gowdy, being the class act that he is, obviously said yes.
Well, look, Key West moves on. All right, I give them credit. They won. They lose the first game, win the next two against Satellite. Who do they play then? Regular. Who are their opponents? Do they play
a lot of those? Yeah. A lot of those teams out of Miami, Baylor, Jesuit, teams like that.
Because they're, what is that? 3 hours away? What?
Yeah, I mean, but here's what they do: the teams that go down to Key West and play, they'll play a series, so they'll stay 2 days. So yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, Alan Zlotorzynski with Brevard Sports Network. All right, what teams are moving on from Brevard County? Do we have any?
This is a tough week, Mark. We had 9 teams reach the state tournament. One has moved on. 6 have been eliminated, and 2 are playing in game 3s tomorrow.
All right.
Merritt Island's moved on, and Vieira and Melbourne have game 3s tomorrow.
All right, I'll put you on the spot. With Brevard Sports Network, you guys do a great job. Are you going to be covering any of these games?
Yes, we'll have Melbourne tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and we'll have Merritt Island's game 1 and game 2 against Balin Jesuit on Monday and Tuesday from Merritt Island.
All right, that's awesome, dude. Good luck with your coverage, and good luck to the local area teams. What'd you say, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Melbourne?
Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Melbourne.
All right. Hey, you know what? I'll just say this like a weatherman, like I'm Tom Terry. I know it's like in the 80s. Hey, it's not bad. Like, I know, knock on wood, we're not right now. You're playing in April. It's not like we're getting horrible showers or it's 115 degrees. I think it's not. I know you're out there calling the game in the heat, but from a weather standpoint, again, knock on wood, I don't think it's bad, Alan, this time.
Well, we needed umbrellas yesterday to prevent all the equipment from overheating, but we got through, and we'll get through again tomorrow.
Okay, that's really cool. All right, I won't. I did not think there was a lot of pizzazz or sexiness to last night going in. And then all of a sudden it got crazy. The draft never disappoints. Entertainment-wise, Alan, what did you think of last night?
It's funny, Mark, because I didn't get to watch the draft live last night. Because when we left satellite, we had to go to Vieira and go do game 2 of their series last night at 7 o'clock. So what I did was I watched the replay of the draft last night at 1 o'clock in the morning on the NFL Network.
Wow.
And I tried to watch it as if I were watching it for the first time. It didn't work out too good. But I will tell you this. Listen, for this not being a very good draft, and it's not, the Jacksonville Jaguars certainly made it interesting right out of the gate. And I think when you look at the rest, look, there were a lot of surprises. Vegas taking Ashton Gentry at the 6. I thought it was a good first round, and then you get to the bottom of the first round, and the thing that just blows my mind is the rich just keep getting richer. And, you wonder sometimes, Mark, you look at this, right, and you go, well, how do teams like the Giants and the Jaguars and the Raiders and the Jets, how do they continue to stay at the top of these draft boards? Well, you get down here and you see a guy like a Jahad Campbell, who's probably one of the best linebackers in the draft, fall to Philadelphia, to the Eagles, like they need another linebacker, right? Kansas City gets Josh Simmons, the big tackle from Ohio State. The Ravens arguably get one of the best defensive backs in the entire draft in Georgia's Malachi Starks, and they get him at 27, Mark. 27. All right. I'm not complaining about that. But that's where I think, you see the real separation in this draft. And that's why teams like the Ravens and the Eagles and the Chiefs will continue to draft at the bottom. And I think I may be the only one that may say this. I was shocked that people loved this trade so much by the Jacksonville Jaguars to trade up and get Travis Hunter. It blew my mind that people like this trade so much. You've got a brand new GM in James Gladstone. You've got a brand new head coach in Liam Cohen, a brand new offensive coordinator in Grant Udinski, and a brand new defensive coordinator. I don't know his first name. Campanile. All four of them are new. They've held three little practices. A, they don't even know what they've got. Okay. B, you are trading away your first round pick next year, your second round pick. This is an absurd trade to me to get a guy who might play both. But now, if Travis Hunter were just a wide receiver and he were the best, or he were just a cornerback and he were the best. And look, Mark, he may be the best at both, but he's not going to be on the field all the time doing both. He's just not. This felt like such a reach for me. And the Cleveland Browns, for the first time since Jesus was a baby, right? Now, you may not like, if you don't like what they did, then you must admit, if you don't like their pick, then you got to admit what they did was the right thing. They are in absolute salary cap hell, Mark. The Browns are. And what the Cleveland Browns have done was they have acquired draft capital to help with that salary cap hell. Great draft capital. They may have 2 top 10 picks next year, Mark. 2.
Yes.
You know, to me, this is an admission by the Browns that it could get worse before it gets better, right? All right. That's what I think this is. But let's say you bring Travis Hunter in, and we have seen this in Cleveland. You draft high, you bring a guy in. This franchise isn't ready for Travis Hunter. They're not ready for him yet. Who in the hell is going to throw him the ball? Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett? Mm-hmm. No. So
I love your passion. I love it.
This was just one of the more idiotic trades. To me, it felt, you know what this felt like to me? James Gladstone got up yesterday morning and he watched draft day and he took a piece of paper and he wrote on it, no matter what, trade the pick and get Travis Hunter. And he stuck it in his pocket, right? And at the end of the day, he pulled that piece of paper out and he goes, look, Kevin, meaning Kevin Costner, I did it too, right? I mean, that's what it felt like to me. He got up, he watched draft day, and he said, okay, I can make this happen too. I mean, it makes no sense to me. Travis, Mark, the Jaguars are still uncertain about their quarterback situation. Mm-hmm. To me, it just feels like Travis Hunter, to me, I don't think he's going to be the guy that turns that franchise completely around. That was supposed to be Trevor Lawrence.
All right, here are my concerns, and I appreciate you getting that off your chest. I know you've been waiting.
Well, it's not off my chest. I just don't understand the logic in it. And if you can explain it to me.
You know what it is? You know what? I get why you're going crazy. He's not going to get the ball in his hands on every play. He's not. So do you think he's going to play 100 snaps a game?
No, he's not.
And look, every NFL player gets dinged up. He's not going to play 16, 17 games at 100%. No. His body's going to fall apart. Again, you gave up that draft capital for a non-quarterback.
Right.
We've not seen this in a long, long time.
No.
All right, here's the other side of it. I'm sorry I have to say this. They're the most irrelevant franchise in the NFL. Okay? They're a loser franchise. They've had, 3 winning seasons, 4 in the last 25 years? When's the last time? Okay, this is my question for you, Alan, and for everyone watching. When have they had a super duper star where the guy's in commercials, kids want to wear his shoes? I don't think ever. I'm not kidding around.
Well, that's the one benefit here. And let's not forget that for the next 2 years, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to need to put as many butts in seats as they can. And the other ultimate thing is we don't know what seats those butts are going to go in. We don't know if it's going to be in Orlando. We don't know if it's going to be in Gainesville. And here's the other thing. A guy like Travis Hunter, whether you're playing in Gainesville or whether you're playing in Orlando, he's going to sell tickets. So you're right. From an ownership standpoint, great pick. But from an on-field perspective, to trade away your first, second, to swap first, and then trade away your second, your fourth, and your first next year is absolutely, utterly insane.
And I think Cleveland, you were kind of hinting at this earlier. Cleveland got a phone call, and they're like, okay, we will do that. Yeah. And they got a good player at 5. Let's say, there you go. Now, are both teams probably going to be bad next year? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. But at least Cleveland admits this by doing this. They basically tell their fan base with this trade, listen, we know where we are with this contract. We know where we are salary cap wise. The only way to get out of salary cap hell, right, is either suck it up for a couple of years in dead cap money, right? Or you acquire draft capital. And look, Cleveland starts off tonight, right? They still might be able to go get a Shedeur Sanders because they got 2 picks that are extremely high at the state. I think they picked first tonight.
Okay, so you said you had to watch it at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is why Alan's the man with Brevard Sports Network. He was covering 2 baseball games in a row, then stayed up to watch the draft. Were you shocked that Sanders was not picked last night?
No, you and I have discussed 1,000. Last night, to me, was one of the first drafts I've seen in a while where you didn't see quarterbacks, maybe with the exception of Jackson Dart. And listen, I don't know Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll with, the head coach and the GM for the Giants. I think they're going to look pretty foolish when this is all said and done because Jackson Dart feels like a guy to me they could have got in the second round. But I think when you look at this, this was one of the I said I think you could have got him in the second round. Don't you think so?
He's second round.
Second
round player. Because you were just Alan. You were just reading off those 25 to 32. No one else was going to draft him.
No, nobody was, and neither was Cleveland. To start the night tonight, and so I just feel like realistically, other than the Giants making that trade for Jackson Dart, I thought it was pretty good with the quarterbacks. Yeah, nothing, that was wild to see 2 quarterbacks in one round.
I agree with you. I really do. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Alan. I put this on Twitter this morning. All right, here's my thoughts. I think they want to play every Sunday like they're the Cincinnati Bengals. Final score, 45-43. They just, whatever. We're going to throw the ball. We're going to play no defense. I mean, it's a great player. What did you think of them taking the Texas wide receiver?
Well, there were some great, they had an opportunity to get an outstanding edge pass rusher at that spot. They had a great opportunity to get a DB in that spot. I just wonder if this speaks to the ankle injury a little further. How bad really is the ankle injury of I can't.
Mike. Okay, I get it. Because Mike, look, I know we both did not sleep last night. Mike Evans is up there in age. Chris Godwin's been injured.
That's who I'm talking about. Evans is 32. I think, you know what? This ankle injury to Chris Godwin may be a little more serious than maybe the Buccaneers are letting on. And listen, I really think that they feel like that they can address their defensive needs for the rest of this draft. But you got Baker Mayfield playing in his prime right now. So go get him a weapon. Listen, do I think they should have went defense? I do. Am I upset that they did not go defense? I'm not.
If you are a fantasy owner of Baker Mayfield, are you happy today of the possibilities of stats they could put up this fall?
Yeah, I would be. Look at what they put up last fall with a depleted injury, a wide receiver core. So yeah, I listen. I would certainly pick Baker Mayfield as my quarterback in fantasy football.
Yeah, they're going to put up big stats. They really, really are. Okay, I thought we're here at the Zlotorzynski Brevard Sports Network. I was looking up stats while you're talking, where it's like, okay, the last couple of years, Georgia was the big winner. Georgia had all these players taken. I thought Michigan did very well last night. Michigan had a bunch of players taken in this round one. I think the Big Ten overall. Because you saw it in the college football playoff. You had Michigan, then Ohio State. Yeah, Georgia had one or two players. I thought the Big Ten did very well last night, Alan.
Yeah, Michigan gets Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. Your Bears take Colston Loveland. So they get 3. How about Ohio State gets 4 players taken? So yeah, listen, still not 15 like
Like
the
the SEC.
SEC. So that's what I'll say. But look, ESPN and CBS are getting exactly what they want. What the college football playoffs now, 14 teams, right? Essentially, college football. I mean, the ACC had 2 players taken last
Yeah.
night.
First pick.
College football is essentially coming down to, Mark, just like the NFL, 2 conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten. And you saw it last night in the first round. Between those 2 schools, 26 players of the 32 selected were from one or the other conference. So, ESPN and CBS got to be extremely happy because they control the crux of the money for all of this. So, I think it's all working out to plan.
Yeah,
In terms
it really is.
of what the future for college football is.
Okay, I want to ask you this. So you saw the replay on NFL Network. I was at our watch party, which was packed last night at Walk On Sports Bistreaux. It was so much fun. Thanks to everyone who showed up. And by the way, Alan, the guy who won, Matt, he got 8 out of 10 right in the top 10. 8 out of 10.
Wow.
You've been to the party before. Usually 4 or 5 gets the win. He got 8 right. Unbelievable. That guy knew what he was doing. Did you see in your replay when Clay Matthews went up there and took the microphone? Did you see this?
Yeah, I mean, just
I know, dude. I was in such shock.
Listen, Clay, I love the Matthews family. Probably not the right time for that.
All right, I'm not kidding around. That was a moment for like about 10 seconds. This is live television, and you saw the crowd looked like it was at Coachella, right? It was gigantic. Okay, there's like 100,000 people live in Green Bay. There might have been 1 million people. The whole state was there. He got on that microphone, and he took out that letter, and he said, well, I talked to President Trump. You didn't know what the hell he was going to. There were millions of people watching. He could have said, and we're going to war with Russia. You don't know what the hell he was going to say. And what he say, Alan? Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to say this to your face. In sports in this country, we have Yankees, Red Sox. We have Ohio State, Michigan. You have all these great. You hate the Steelers with your Ravens. There are great rivalries. I'm sorry. After last night, it is the number one rivalry. It's Packers.
Look. When he said the Bears still suck, obviously you're the first person I thought of, right? I thought, well, this didn't go over well with Mark Moses. But he probably could have, said something like he took out a letter out of his pocket, right, and said, I have a letter here, and probably gave an important person in, somebody other than Donald Trump, right? And so anyway, it was. I was like, wow, did he just say that?
He did. And what's funny is like when he started talking, you're like, yeah, this is probably real. Trump probably did talk to him. So you're thinking you're thinking he's going to say like, hey, we wish all the NFL fans, have a great draft. Go Packers. No. We live rent free in those BSs. I'm trying not to say anything too bad here. We live rent free. They're thinking about us. Their greatest moment. We are the Packers. We're at Lambeau Field. No, they're thinking about the Bears. And don't you forget about it. Okay, so here's what happens. That happens. Then the Titans are on the clock. For 2 minutes, they get all the love, and then the Jaguars steal their thunder, a division rival. Oh, we're trading to get Travis Hunter.
I will tell you this. As far as your Bears are concerned, I was disappointed that I know they took the tight end, but I felt like if they were going to take a tight end, I thought the one to take was Tyler Warren.
The whole country thought that was going to be the pick. I'm getting reports. The player they took is 2 years younger, and they look, and it could be a horrible bust. The Bears are insane. They think they get a bigger upside with this guy.
Well, that depends. I mean, you look at a guy like Warren, if he's 2 years older, probably more physical, more mature. He's going to be playing in the NFC North, which is a very physical division. So I mean, I can see both sides of the coin. But to me, as far as better, it was Warren.
Both guys are like 6'6", 248.
Yeah,
They're my look, dude. Hey, I'm with you. I don't get the pick. I've been sleeping on it. They have 2 picks in early second round because they have their own. Then they still have a Panthers pick. So we're gonna find out. How much sleep did you get then? I'm confused here.
Probably about as much as I normally do, about 3.5 hours.
You are like the president. You are a machine. You are. He ain't sleeping either.
Probably like 3.5 hours. It's tough to sleep longer than that.
Yeah, I see that. All right. What's your game plan for the rest of the day then?
I got to head up. I got to head up to Vieira for a signing day.
What time does that start at?
I don't know. 3:00, I think. We got a huge, and I mean huge, coaching announcement that's going to break any moment now. So stay tuned to Brevard Sports Network for that, because this is a big one. This is an awfully big one. Stay tuned to BSN. Right now, as you and I talk, he is talking to his players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just say this and I'll let you go. And you'll come back on Tuesday. We'll do our normal segment.
Yeah.
So, you're right. This phone right here, the minute he said the Packers suck, so many people started texting me. And I appreciate that. That you think of me. And when they didn't take Ty Warren at 10, more text messages to me personally. Okay. More.
Well, I will say this. I was forever grateful last night, because I just thought for sure by the time Pittsburgh got to 21, I said, oh no. I didn't think Shedeur Sanders would have been a big pick from 21 on. Bottom of the first round, I don't think he's a bad pick. Okay. I don't. No. I think he's a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. Okay. And so when Pittsburgh took a defensive tackle from Oregon, that made my night.
That made the night, baby.
That made my night, because and then the Ravens get Malachi Starks, who's an absolute.
What a name.
Well, we got a tradition of Starks. We had Dwayne Starks. Now we got Malachi Starks. And listen, you put him back there with Kyle. I can't think of his last name. No, our safety in Baltimore. We got a terrific young safety in Baltimore. I don't know.
Look, dude, it's okay.
Hold on, man. Now I got to know.
He has to look it up. We're here.
I do. I absolutely have to know.
We're here now. Zlotorzynski, Brevard Sports Network.
Kyle Hamilton.
Sounds like a NASCAR guy.
Yeah. You're gonna put Malachi Starks back there, who's a day one starter at the safety position, back there with a Pro Bowler and Kyle Hamilton. And yes, the Ravens need an edge rusher, but that's not how the Ravens draft. This was the best guy on the board at the time. I'm actually surprised that Starks didn't go somewhere in the teens, and the Ravens get lucky again.
All right, let's end with this, and I'll let you go. All right, if you were on a national platform like that, and you could rip one of your rivals, but you can only pick one, who would, like how Clay Matthews said the Bears suck, who would you throw the shade at? What would you do?
Of course I would throw it at Pittsburgh.
There you go. That's what you'd pick.
I mean, everything that's ever been destroyed in Baltimore sports is because of them.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, it's the Steelers over the Baltimore Colts back in the day. The Steelers over the Ravens. The Capitals, the Penguins over the Cap. The Orioles have lost 3 World Series. 2 of them have come to, guess who? The Pittsburgh Pirates.
So if you're going to date Alan Zlotorzynski, ladies, no black and yellow, not allowed in the house.
My first fiance, probably too much information, but my first fiance, who, and by the way, she was from Pittsburgh and her family was from Pittsburgh. But just to let you know how that turned out, we never made it to the altar.
No, we didn't. No, We didn't make it. Alan Zlotorzynski, Brevard Sports Network. Thanks for your help and have a great day, man. All right.
Take care, buddy.
Hey, good luck to that fiance. Great stuff. Now I'm laughing. Alan's the man. Yes, we are broadcasting live here on a Friday on the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. And yes, if you ever get into a car accident, I hope you don't, but if you do, or a truck accident, slip and fall, call my friends at Anidjar and Levine. That's Mark Anidjar and Glenn Levine. They will fight for you and get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call for a free consultation and don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anidjar and Levine. Take back control of your life. Call them 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Also, Walk On Sports Bistreaux, great podcast partner of the show. That was a lot of fun last night. Check out the photos on my social medias, including on my Facebook page. We had so much fun. Congratulations to Matt. He won 8 out of 10 with the NFL Draft Top 10 picks. He got a $50 gift card to Walk On Sports Bistreaux. Also, a NFL Draft coin from the Highland Mint. And he got Saturday night tickets to Welcome to Rockville coming up in May there in Daytona. We also had 2 runner-ups. They got coins from the Highland Mint. So thanks to everyone who stopped by last night. That was a lot of fun. It was. We're not done with our draft special. Let's hear. I did it this morning. Here's Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown, his thoughts on round 1, and we look ahead to round 2 tonight here on the Mark Moses Show. And joining me right now here on the Mark Moses Show to recap round 1 of the NFL Draft last night there in Green Bay and look ahead to rounds 2 through 7 over the next couple of days. He is my good friend, Brian Bosarge with Draft Countdown. He's been joining me for years on the phone, but now we get to see his beautiful face. Brian, how you doing today, buddy?
I am exhausted, Mark. I got about 4 hours of sleep last night. I've been mainlining caffeine all morning, but hey, day 2, we're ready to go.
Do you make your body get prepared for Thursday, Friday, Saturday? I try to, and I still have issues. How about you?
No, there's no way. I have Sunday, and I plan on sleeping in Sunday. Family's actually out of town. So it's just me here. So I actually might get some deep sleep Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, let's start with the obvious. I did not have a lot of kind of excitement for last night compared to previous years. I'm on record as saying that. But then all of a sudden it got entertaining. It did, especially the Jaguars at 2. Overall, entertainment-wise, Brian, what did you think of last night? For
a draft where going in you knew that the quarterback situation, although they tried to make it about that all night long on the broadcast, you knew going in that this was not going to be the quarterback top heavy. Like last year, it was awesome, right? Quarterbacks drive the narrative and everything. This year we had Cam Ward, and that was it. So when Jacksonville trades up to 2, and you start hearing rumblings about that before the draft went on the air, and you're like, are they actually going to pull this off? And they do. It does create a buzz for everything that follows after that. So yeah, I was fairly entertained.
What was interesting, so last night at my draft party, I do this game where everyone at the sports bar, you got to get the most picks right in the top 10. And our winner last night, he seriously got 8 out of 10, which was incredible. I noticed this. I want your thoughts. Most people at my party last night got the first 4 players right. Were those just like they were so locked in? That's what was going to happen last night, because that's what it felt like.
I'm actually surprised Moore didn't get the first 6. If you're not matching them to teams and you're just getting 1 through 6, because I think 1 through 6, because for the longest time, everybody had Jacksonville taking Mason Graham at 5 and Genty going 6 to the Raiders. This was like lockstep in. But yeah, so I'm not surprised. I think it kind of got. I'm guessing 8 and 10 were the 2 spots that the guy missed. Just looking, because Mimbo to the Jets was a fairly mock thing, and Kelvin Banks to the Saints kind of started picking up some steam, especially in the last couple of days. So no, the amount it felt kind of chalky of the order it went in, but the teams matched didn't seem to match up there.
We're at Brian Bosarge Draft Countdown, recapping round one last night, and you could tell both of our voices. Yeah, it was a long night. It was. Okay, entertainment-wise, so here's how it started last night. For the three people that didn't watch, so Clay Matthews steals the microphone. No one knows what he's going to say. No idea. Then he makes fun of the Bears. Okay, Tennessee's up there. They get like 5 minutes of, okay, we're going to take this quarterback. Then Jacksonville steals their thunder by saying there's a trade. Did the Titans get screwed over just from this was our moment to shine in that 15 minutes?
I find it even more funny that it was their division rival, I guess, if you will, that stole the thunder away from them. But I mean, you've had months now where you had all the attention on yourself, but you know, they'll deal with it, I guess. But no, that was, like I said, that's fun. And the amount that Jacksonville, you know, it was willing to part with to go up was I think the talk about it, to the point that Travis Hunter is going to be a two-way player for them. There's no way they're making that bold of a move if Travis Hunter's not playing 120 snaps a game.
Okay, this is a layered question. Did Jacksonville give up too much to go up to number 2? I say yes. I think this is insane for a non-quarterback to give up that king's ransom. What do you think?
Generally, to be Brian Thomas Jr. is clearly your number one wide receiver, but I think he is going to be their number one corner. It's going to be interesting. It gives Trevor Lawrence another weapon for sure. And it wasn't too much because like I said, maybe it's too much because we don't see it for non-quarterbacks like ever. So that's that we're kind of under the guise, but we've also never really we haven't had in decades even a player like Travis Hunter, right? That's with that ability. So it's going to be interesting to see, and because their division is not good. I mean, the Titans are bad, the Jags were bad, the Colts were bad, and the Texans weren't as good as they were the year before, right? So it feels like maybe the one they gave up next year, in theory, could be at the mid-teens at the worst, right? Or at the best, maybe they make the playoffs. So, and it goes into the 20s. So you don't feel like you gave up as much. It's something we won't know until at the end of next season when we see where Jacksonville finishes.
All right. If you're Jacksonville, look, you're an irrelevant franchise nationally. I'm sorry. You are. And I cover the Jaguars. They are. No one cares about them. This gives them star appeal. Something, I mean, all right, I'm just looking off the top of my head. When's the last time they had a star, a superstar that could be in commercials and kids wanted to be like? I don't even know. If you think Mark Brunell, they have one Hall of Famer, Tony Baselli. Like that I understand, but if you're going to use him, like you said, both ways, so would you play him defensive back the whole game and then 20 plays on offense? I mean, he's only a human being here. He can't play 90 snaps a game. What do you think, Brian?
I think it may, and this feels like a cop-out answer, but I think maybe it's just going to depend game to game, right? And the flow of the game. So that might be but you know, like it's new offensive coordinator. I mean, the offensive coordinator is the head coach, Liam Cohen. He's going to want to use him on offense a lot.
Yes.
So it's just going to be up to. Like I said, he played 120 snaps a game in college. 120 snaps in the Big 12 a game is a lot different than 120 snaps in the NFL. Just from a physical perspective, it's very interesting. And like you said, it's going to make the Jacksonville Jaguars relevant because even then, now people are going to want to watch their games to see if he can do that. But
yes, you're absolutely right. We're here with Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown. What about injuries? He's going to get banged up. Look, for content, it's fantastic. For the Jaguars, I don't know. Let's go to the other side. I think this was great for Cleveland. Look, they have no picks. They're a terrible franchise. And especially after Watson, they had to get draft picks. I think it was great. You only went to 5 and got a great player. What did you think of Cleveland last night?
I thought it was interesting before the draft ever started. Like in the middle of the afternoon yesterday, suddenly some random trade pops up. They dealt three day 3 picks to Houston for a 5th round pick. And it's like, what brought this on, right? And like a 2027 5th round pick or something. And it's like, okay, sure, you're not gonna, that many guys are, their roster is still decent. So that many, they had like 10 or 11 draft picks. Not many of those rookies were going to make the team. I get it. But then you do this, and I'm like, okay, you're passing on Abdul Carter. You're passing on Travis Hunter by moving back. They obviously had the plan of Mason Graham because they knew he was going to be there. And that seems to be a guy they really like. This just, he'll now go dominating on their interior next to Myles Garrett. As a Bengals fan, this is not an ideal situation to have to play against when your offensive line has consistently sucked for a decade now. So it's not ideal for something I'm looking forward to seeing. But I get Cleveland's vision here, and now you get the one next year. So let's say Cleveland tonight, they have several day 2 picks tonight. Let's say they don't take a quarterback tonight. I think they don't. Now you've got more picks next year, quarterback class in 26. I get it. I get the vision that Cleveland has here.
Okay, 2 teams then, because it kind of got lost in the shuffle because it was later in the night, Eastern Standard Time. All right. Atlanta and the Giants also traded back into round 1 and gave up a lot. We'll start with the Giants. They got Jackson Dart. You know what? I do not like Jackson Dart. I would not have traded in. How about you, Brian?
I was not the biggest Jackson. He was quarterback 4 on my board. So I wasn't his biggest fan, but the Giants apparently really loved him. The GM's son was Instagramming out videos about Jackson Dart 2 days ago, basically giving the game away. I love that somebody said, well, at least he doesn't have to get grounded now, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't think they gave up a lot to come up. They gave up their compensatory 3rd round pick and the pick that they would have, maybe selected Dart with at the top of the 2nd round and a 26th 3rd round pick. If Dart ends up working out and is their QB of the future, then it was well worth it. He's not going to play this year or shouldn't have to. You've got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston both on 1-year contracts. He's going to be the 3rd quarterback on game day. He should never see a snap all season long, barring injuries or whatever. And then he's ready to step in 26. He's going
to play. No. See, you sound like an intelligent human being, and you're forgetting these football teams. I think he'll play later in the year. I do not believe in Jameis. I don't believe in Russell Wilson. I could see him getting on the football field late in the season.
The problem is if he's not ready to play, then he's not going to be a part of their future team's plans because the whole shebang, Joe Schoen, the GM, Brian Daboll, the head coach, they're all getting canned if they don't turn it around this year. So that's why I think they have to play Russell Wilson to try to just stay relevant because like I said, if they're picking at the top of the draft again next year, they're all fired anyway. And then whoever the new team is coming in, they have no loyalty to Jackson Dart. So he's on the trading block for a conditional 4th round pick 2 years from now, if that's the case.
Okay, real quick then. Atlanta. Okay, I like them getting the Georgia player, like 15 overall. But then what did they trade to the Rams late in the 1st round? I know you're looking at your stats right now. We're here with Brian Bosarge. What did Atlanta? I thought Atlanta gave up a lot.
So Atlanta to come up 20 spots because they were picking 46 in round 2. The Rams went all the way back. They had to give up their 1st next year. And they essentially pick swapped a 3rd this year and a 7th. So the Rams got back a 7th in this draft. The Rams sent their compensatory 3rd, which is 101 to the Falcons. So Everybody has said the Falcons need to draft an edge rusher for like a decade now, and they never did. And they get the one in Jalen Walker, and everyone's like, yay, way to go, guys. We finally did it. And then they double up and give up a one next year to draft Tennessee's James Pierce, who has issues on it, or has red flags of, does he actually like to play the sport of football?
Oh.
So, because if he doesn't have that on him, he's long gone. Like, because he's ran a four. Let's see, was he four? Yeah, he's a 4.47 guy at 6'5", 245 pounds. And he bends, he gets around the edge. He's a tremendous pass rusher when he looks motivated. But there are a large swaths of game tape where he looks very lackadaisical, if you will. So I don't know. They felt like they definitely need to upgrade their pass rush, and they did it in theory, but at what cost?
In theory, if he's motivated. Great analysis. We're here with Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown. All right, the Buccaneers. I was a little shocked. They got a great player. My analysis this morning is like, all right, that's great. Is every game on Sunday this fall going to be 43-41 final score? Like, what are your thoughts on them taking the Texas wide receiver?
I mean, that's the Bengals plan on doing that way. So, I mean, it's fun. Hey, you can't say it won't be fun games to watch, Mark.
Yeah.
But I think here the thought process is Mike Evans is older, right? I mean, he's been up there. Chris Godwin hasn't been healthy, for about 2 or 3 seasons now. So that, to me, is the logic here. I think drafting Emeka Egbuka, who becomes he's the 5th Ohio State wide receiver to be drafted in the first round in the last 4 years.
Wow.
It's just a factory. And, they'll have another one here going in the top 3 2 years from now with Jeremiah Smith. I don't know who's going to be the one drafted in the first round next year. I guess we'll have to find out. But it's insane. And Egbuka's really good. And as what would you have to think would be the 3rd receiving option on that team as a rookie, I mean, that's going to put some NFC South defenses in a bind.
Yes. So it's like fire the cannons. Abuka. See, I already know what they're going to do at the stadium. It's like a great pick. It is. But then if you're the Buccaneers, do you just go defense the rest of the draft? Do you just go that route, buddy?
Probably. I mean, and maybe they just weren't in love with the defense board. I mean, there are a few corners that went later on after them. Like I thought maybe Jahdae Barron, who went the next pick to the Broncos, might have been somebody they looked for. Maybe Derek Harmon, the defensive lineman, who went 2 picks later to Pittsburgh, might have been a guy they were looking at. But hey, they want to score.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
Yeah, if you're Baker Mayfield, that was a big win for you last
night.
He
loved it. No doubt. He loved it.
Yeah, real quick, if I could ask you about the Dolphins. It kind of feels like today, like there's no love. Like, oh, yeah, they took a defensive player. Who did they take, and what did you think of the pick?
They get defensive lineman Kenneth Grant, who's a big run plugger, defensive tackle. He's going to fit right in the middle of their defense. Kind of, I don't want to say replacing what they lost a couple of seasons ago with Christian Wilkins, but it's kind of in that mold where he can rush the passers some, but that's not his main forte. He's mostly going to be a run plugger, but he's a dog captain. He's going to be a guy that it's not going to be flashy, but he's the guy that you want to have.
We're here with Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown. Okay, I've gone 17 minutes. Why did Shedeur Sanders not get drafted in the first round?
The circus is a lot cheaper on second round money than it is first round money. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like you said, there's questions about his pocket presence. There's questions about his arm strength. And then the whole Dion circus, people can say all they want. That's part of it. It's the only thing I can figure out. I think he's going to go early tonight. I put out a day 2 mock earlier this morning on the site. I had him going because a lot of people thought he could go 9 to New Orleans in some of the earlier mock drafts in the last couple of weeks. I think he could be there on the board at 40 and they pop in there.
I told you after the combine, this was a couple months ago now, with the way he was acted at the combine, I'm like, no. Like, I just knew right away. I'm like, no, he's going to turn teams off. You're right. There's too much of a circus. And what I liked about Cam Ward is, and he even had this feeling last night, hey, I'm here to play football. You were talking about the Giants player of, we got to make sure he's motivated. Cam Ward, they asked him after the draft, they're like, all right, now what? Are you going to celebrate? He's like, nope, go to bed. Then I got to go to Nashville. I'm ready to play. And you're right. My question for Shedeur Sanders is, he's probably had his dad coaching him since he was a little kid. Pee-wee, junior high, high school, college. Deion's not coming with you. I think it's going to be an eye-opener for Shedeur, whoever he gets drafted. Who do you think will draft him tonight then?
Like I said, I think the spots to look at are New Orleans at 40. I think the Raiders with their second-round pick here at the top could be. I'm not ruling – Cleveland's got 2 picks in the first 4 tonight. I'm not ruling them out as well. And if Pittsburgh doesn't have a second-round pick. So that's who a lot of people had linked into in the first round. I don't think he tumbles all the way to – I think they picked 83 in the third round. I would not think he would tumble that far.
No.
So – and – well, the Rams at pick, they now picks that they got in the Atlanta trade. If he's still on the board there, I think they're looking. They could, take him as a pass the torch guy from Matt Stafford at some point. So that's just a handful of names I'll throw out there.
Okay, let's end with this. And by the way, I know you're super tired. Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate it, man. We're both going to be sleeping all day Sunday. We're here with Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown. You know what I have to ask? The Bears took a tight end, but not the one people thought. Okay, what did you think? What is his name?
Colston Loveland.
I love Joy from The Simpsons. No, Loveland. What did you think of this pick at 10? And
I was surprised. I was really surprised that they passed him over Tyler Warren. I was asked this question by someone else this morning, and the best I can come up with is they feel he has more upside, maybe more overall athleticism, although he didn't test, but neither did Tyler Warren. And he's 2 years younger. So I think that's the issue at this point. Ben Johnson, the new head coach there, and you saw what he did with Sam Laporta. Now he's got him and Cole Kmet. I get the vision. Chicago's got 2 picks in the first 10 tonight?
Yeah.
I think they're going to get you a running back. I think there's some good edge rushers still on the board that kind of fell down for different reasons out of the first round. If the Bears can come out of early tonight with Colston Loveland yesterday, Travion Henderson from Ohio State, and maybe a Donovan Ezuraku or Mike Green on the pass rusher, that's a win, my man.
Yeah, I agree. And you look at his tape, this Michigan, and by the way, I think Michigan was a big winner last night as a school. Usually it's Georgia the last couple of drafts. Michigan got a lot of high picks in this, and I know they won the title 2 years ago. He looks like this year I'm going to be a homer. Him and the Penn State tight end both look like studs out there. That's interesting you bring up 2 years younger. He looks like he's Travis Kelce running those routes. That's what it looks like to me. So we're going to find out. How should we follow you on Twitter? What's the website for the latest moving forward this weekend, buddy?
Yeah, like I said, if you want to kind of get an eye out on who's maybe available tonight still left, I put a 2-round mock draft up this morning for the second, third round at draftcountdown.com. Check that out. Follow Draft Countdown on X at Draft Countdown. Follow me there at Deep Fried Draft, and the same at Blue Sky if the people are on there now.
Oh, I'm on the Blue Sky. Don't worry. I'm on there as well. You need to come back on next week when you're not busy, and we'll get your full reports of winners and losers and your thoughts on WrestleMania. I want your thoughts on that, because I know you have opinions. Brian, thanks for your help, and have a great weekend, all right?
All right. Glad to be here, Mark.
Great stuff. Love talking to that guy. He's Brian Bosarge, Draft Countdown. He's been joining me for years. First time you've seen him on video. Yes, that's what we're doing now with the Mark Moses Show podcast. All right, before I get out of here, yes, we want to thank Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorney Studios, being the official studio sponsor of the Mark Moses Show. Take back control of your life. Call them. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Also, we want to thank Walk On Sports Bistreaux in Vieira, home of the $5 Tito's all day, every day at Walk On's Vieira. And in case you missed some of our photos, put them on Facebook. Yeah, we had a lot of fun at the draft party last night. All right, I'm out of gas. I'm out of time. I got to go to City Promenade tomorrow in Kissimmee, right by Disney World, for the 2025 Take Steps Walk with the Crohn's Colitis Foundation of Central Florida. I got to MC that event. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to bed early tonight. Oh, no, wait, I can't. Game 3 Magic Celtics tonight from the Kia Center. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday right here on the Mark Moses Show.